Yes, there are, Hunter. Separate point leaders for both tournaments. Two entirely separate tournaments. So Stefan has the play here, and he's going to go ahead and he's going to start it off with a Eldrazi Temple and a copy of Expedition Map. Second Temple comes down. I do see a Ballista in his hand, and I believe I see like Reality Smasher, so that's pretty good. That's a next turn play, however. Jorj does have a second land here, another island. He's going to play a Spreading Seas, and he is going to make one of these temples into an island and draw a card for his troubles. Stefan will go ahead and turn and sacrifice this expedition map. So there's potential that he just goes and finds a third Eldrazi temple here, because that'll allow him to play. Yeah, he is. That'll allow him to play this Reality Smasher on turn 3 and put a quick clock on Jorj. Now, Jorj does have in hand a copy of Dismember, so he does have the answer to this Smasher. It will cost him a card from his hand, but he's not just dead to the Smasher here, which is nice for Jorj. All right, so Stefan draws here. There is that third temple. We're going to play a Smasher. Wow, I thought we fixed this lighting issue. Apparently not. There's an attack for 5. Jorj does fall to 15. A third island. Silvergill Adept is going to reveal a Marrow Regery. Jorj will draw a card. It is an Oboro, Palace in the Clouds, and we're going to see him fire off this Dismember right now. He's going to fall to 11 for it. Stefan will have the trigger, and Jorj will have to discard a card. Stefan says trigger. So Jorj now has to discard. Interesting. He's going to discard the land. Yeah, this is a triggered ability, so Stefan does have to declare it, and then Jorj now responds with the discard here. Not really responds, but fulfills the requirement. I think there's just a little confusion over this trigger here. Again, this member will trigger the ability of the Smasher, but it is still a triggered ability. He still has to declare the trigger. So it's not like Jorj can screw up by not discarding the card too early. Okay, isn't it discard Kira Great Glass Spinner? That's fine. And then pass the turn back. So yes, down goes the Smasher. Thanks to Dismember. I believe Stefan has 2 copies of Walking Ballista in hand. The 4th temple as well. All right, sure. He also has his own Dismember, and I think 2 more lands after that. So quite a bit of mana. We're going to have a Walking Ballista come down for 2. Yeah, the island is still fine. It still makes mana for Walking Ballista. That's not a problem. There is the Ballista. No, I lied. It's not. There is the Ballista. So Jorj, going to go ahead and play Oboro here. He killed the Silvergill Adept, not surprisingly. So Stefan right now knows about the Marrow Regery in Jorj's hand, and that's about it. Now Jorj has the option here. I don't play the Master of Waves. The Master of Waves will just get shot down, and that'll kill the token along with it. Alright, he's going to get 2 tokens. I'm not really a fan of this, but like the biggest problem here is if Stefan has nothing else to do, he just gets to go put a counter on Ballista. Really? There we go. Put a counter on Ballista, shoot your Master of Waves, and your tokens die and I attack you for 1. So it's not really the biggest deal, but... Stefan's going to go ahead and read a Boro Palace in the Clouds. I mean, Merfolk players always play these one of legendary lands. Pay for mana, your opponent chooses one. Your opponent chooses one destroy target ballista, or your opponent pays for mana. Yeah, I don't agree with Master of Waves here at all, Hunter. I think I would have just probably played. I mean, his other cards in hand are like Mara Regery, Lord of Atlantis. So I mean, all of those are opened up as well, but that lets at least trade with the ballista. This line, if Stefan just pumps the ballista, means the ballista is still around. So as I was saying, the Merfolk players play a lot of these one-off legendary lands, and it's simply because they're not actually islands. So cards like Choke don't totally lock them out of the game. All right, so Stefan's actually just going to go ahead and kill his ballista off to deal with the Master. I think he has a second one, though, so he's fine. Yeah. Yeah, second ballista comes down, and he's in still a fine spot. Now, Jorj here is going to be able to deploy both his lords, so they'll protect each other, unless Stefan wants to kill one of them in response. We're going to Spreading Seas another one of Stefan's lands. I'm not too sure about playing that. I think, in all honesty, I would have just played both lords here. No, I agree absolutely, Hunter. I think it would have been much better off if he had played one of the lords on the previous turn. And if it lives, he's in a great spot because the ballista won't be able to one-shot the Master of Waves. But Expedition map comes down. Stefan is flooded here. He has just lands for the most part. And importantly as well, he doesn't actually have enough to like cast him like an Ulamog, for instance. He still only has access right now. He's got 2, 4, 6. He's got 8 mana, so he's close. He's definitely can cast everything except for Ulamog and Kozilek. Or actually, Kozilek I can't remember what it costs. I think it costs. Yeah. Okay, so Jorj is going to take 2 and fall to 9. I mean, yeah, it's definitely not a bad plan, Best. Mr. Voicebox87, thank you for that follow. We appreciate it. I will make sure you receive your 10% off discount code to top8gaming.com. Welcome to the channel. Players may just be clarifying life totals here to make sure we have the correct numbers. Jorj draws a very unexciting Aether Vial. Okay, Mara Regery comes down. Now, I will say that Stefan will have the option here. If he wants, he is able to... he doesn't, though. He would have been able to shoot the Mara Regery in response to the Lord of Atlantis, giving it a counter to keep it alive. Let the Lord resolve. Next turn, put a counter on it and trade for the Lord as well. He could have just totally cleaned house here. He decided to let it resolve. So both of these Merfolk are now 3/3s. With Island Walk, Stefan's going to go ahead and give it a counter. That's fine. Stefan drew a good card, Dismember, here. So he's clarifying the power. Yeah, you won't be able to ballista one of these down. You can, but it'll die. Unless you want to pump it first. What does Jorj have in terms of answers to this ballista main deck? I'm curious. We're going to go ahead and fire off at Dismember. Stefan falls to 16. Do we have anything to fight this main deck? I mean, Kira could have, I guess, but not really. He doesn't have much to fight off this this ballista here. All right, here comes the attack for 3. Mirror Regery is now, of course, a 2/2, so not going to be blocking here. Jorj falls to 6, unless Stefan wants to pump before damage. Looks like he does not. He's going to go ahead and play another map. Lots of mana. That's unfortunate, Mr. Voicebox. I mean, if you ever get one of them off, we're doing them for the next 22 weeks. So, if you play Standard and Modern, you have your choice. This seems like a rough matchup for Merfolk unless they get a really fast start. Alright. So Stefan did go ahead and fetch out his remaining Tron pieces, getting the power plant and the tower. I don't think he's played a land yet this turn. No, he has not. But his hand right now is just a copy of Wastes and that power plant. So not the most exciting. Wait, did he get power plant again or did he get a mine? Because he already has a power plant in play, actually, I just realized. I assume he got a mine, but I didn't actually see, so we'll find out. Here comes an attack for 2. Stefan falls to 14. Jorj has a Clique, though. It's a 1-of in his deck. It'll at least let him kind of fight one of Stefan's draw steps here. Now, I mean, Vest did, of course, point out that, lands plus Ballista is a pretty good game plan. I definitely agree. He grabbed a second power plant instead of a mine. I wonder if he recognized that. So there's Reality Smasher, a power plant, and a Wastes. And again, it's a duplicate power plant, which is pretty interesting. So he didn't actually grab Tron. He drew a Matter Reshaper. Yeah, Tron's not online, so hopefully he doesn't try and pay more mana than that allows. Because that is 2 copies of Power Plant. So that should be 3 mana? Yeah, it is. Okay, so yeah, he might have realized the mistake, or maybe he just meant to grab a second Power Plant. I don't know. 3 mana, Matter Reshaper comes down. Clique is getting shot out of the air, I assume here. Yep, down goes the Clique. 1, 2, 3, 6 mana available, so you can take out half of Jorj's life total this turn. Yeah, makes it 3 damage. I would also shoot down the Regery right now if I were Stefan. Just kill it while you can, for sure, and keep your Ballista around. I mean, Jorj needs... I don't even know what he would need off the top of his deck here to try and live, but... yeah, he's just dead to the Ballista. Sure. Stefan kills the Ballista. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Stefan loses this game regardless. Yep, here's the lethal attack. We'll just pump Ballista for good measure. Yep. Yeah, so down goes Jorj. Game 1 goes over to Stefan. We'll take a look at sideboards here. Very important game for Jorj to win now. So Jorj has in his sideboard the 3rd Dismember, a Tidebinder Mage, 3 copies of Seize Claim, 2 Relic of Progenitus, 3 Hurkyl's Recall, 2 Dispel, 2 Ceremonious Rejection, and a Unified Will. So for Jorj, there's definitely a few cards I like here. I like Unified Will. I like Ceremonious Rejection for sure. The Hurkyl's Recall is interesting. I don't know how much I like it. It's really only bouncing like a Caller or Ballistas, but it could be okay. I'd leave it maybe to the end. The Dismember for sure comes in. The Seize Claims come in. Yeah, he's got quite a few cards to bring in here. Stefan, on the other hand, to fight Merfolk, gets access to All Is Dust, Warping Whale, Karn, 2 Pithing Needle, 2 Ratchet Bomb, 3 Spatial Contortion, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Relic Progenitus, and a Dismember. So for Stefan, I like the All Is Dust for sure. I like the Ratchet Bombs. I like Dismember. Spatial Contortion can be alright. He's got some cards here or there that could be good depending on the draw that Jorj has. I again, for Jorj's sideboard plan though, bringing Serum Direction I think was a good heads up play. Counters everything else draws he's playing except for Dismember. So Stefan does have also 1 copy of All His Dust in his main deck, so he does have 2 board wipe answers to Jorj's board. Jorj looking at... Did Jorj bring in Dispel, or is he main decking Dispel? Okay, he's main decking 1 copy of Dispel. I think that would come out if I'm Jorj. I think I would take out the Dispel. I think I would take out the Tidebinder Mages because they just don't do anything. JTG, how's it going, man? All right. I do like the Cura in this matchup. If I'm not mistaken, Cura gets to blank at least one use of Ballista, which isn't bad. It's a one of, so you can't really rely on drawing it, but I think if you do, you're in a pretty okay spot. So I imagine the majority of my 9-point players that drew are anxiously huddled around the table watching this match, rooting against Jorj here. Stefan cannot make top 8 with a win here. He's currently in 10th place with 6 points, so he is top of the 6s, but it's just not going to matter. Jorj needs a win here to have any shot. Jorj will have the play here, which is pretty important. Stefan did have this. One of the strengths of Eldrazi Tron is it does get access to a lot of mana pretty quickly with the combination of Temples and Tron. I thought Jorj already pile shuffled once, didn't he? I thought you weren't able to do it twice. Yeah, this is kind of... I mean, Jorj used to have... I imagine a turn 1 Vial is his best path to victory, combined with multiple Lord effects to blank out Ballista from being so effective. Unless Stefan, of course, gets to cast a massive Ballista, then maybe that's different. But yeah, I think Vile is probably the first step to this game plan, though. 7 cards. Jorj's going to have a look here. I mean, spreading seas are okay. The Mana Denial route could be okay. He does have 2 lands here. He has an Aboro and an island. Stefan also does mulligan here to 6. So this could be the game that Jorj is able to get back into this for sure. He does need to. I mean, again, he's right now he's looking at a denial plan. Just going to turn off Tron pieces and turn off temples from being effective. Of note, it is important that they are islands because a lot of Stefan's Eldrazi do require specifically colored mana or colorless mana to use. His Thought Knot Seers, his Reality Smashers, even his Matter Shapers, they all require colorless specifically. And if all he has is islands, those don't work for him. We'll have to see. Jorj, if I'm not mistaken, did keep a 2-lander, but I think he has 2 copies of Spreading Seas in his hand. So if that is the case, he's not in a terrible spot. Stefan down to 5. Not even a second look there. Tells me he probably either had all lands or no lands. More than likely no lands. All lands maybe you think about for a second. But no lands, I don't think there's any thought to at all. You just chip it back and hope for a better 5. All right, Stefan down to 5 here. We'll have to see what he can pick up. It's going to be an interesting 5. I don't even really know what his best 5 is here. Ghost Quarter, Tower, Mine, Reality Smasher. He's keeping. He's got 3 lands at least. Smasher. I think he may have 4 lands and a Smasher. I'm not sure what that card in the middle of his hand is. It might have been a Ratchet Bomb actually, but Jorj starts it off with a copy of a Aboro and a Pass of the Turn. It is Ratchet Bomb, so that's not bad. I mean, that does unlock. It does beat Spreading Seas. Yep, there is a Mine and a Pass of the Turn. Jorj will untap. He draws a copy of Seas Claim. So I think we're going to see Spreading Seas here because it draws the card, or he could go with Silvergill Adept to draw a card and get a little pressure on board. He is going to go with that Spreading Seas and pass the turn. He draws a Cavern off of that. We may see, I believe Stefan drew another tower. We'll probably see Ratchet Bomb come down here. Yeah, we do. Okay. Cavern Souls naming Merfolk. He'll be able to Spreading Seas again, or I prefer going Seas Claim and Adept here. Yeah, Jorj agrees. He's going to reveal a copy of Harbinger of the Tides. Not super exciting in this matchup. It does get to bounce a Smasher, and it doesn't cost him a card to do it. He's also going to go ahead and use the Aboro to Seas Claim the Urza's Tower. And then we're going to tick up that Ratchet Bomb to 1. Going to be going to 2. Very important number against Merfolk. Stefan has for a mold of 5, he's got some good cards here for sure. Ratchet Bomb is a key one to this matchup. Found one of his 2 copies, so pretty important there. I imagine we're just passing the turn. I don't think he has anything in play here. Actually, he has a Ballista. I lied. Okay. Now, Ghost Quarter is not one of the ones you want to try and Spreading Seas. Jorj attacks for 2. Stefan falls to 18. Jorj, I believe... No, he doesn't have a 4th land. So he might just go with a 2nd Silvergill Adept. He does, and he's going to reveal, I imagine, the same one. Yep. Harbinger of the Tides again. He'll draw a card. I think he found a land, though. That's a good one. He can play the Curse Catcher here. I think he has 2 more Spreading Seas in hand. Jeez, he has like all the Mana Denial. All right, yeah, Bomb goes to 2. Not a big surprise. Stefan has a Thought-Knot Seer, and he does have access to colorless mana thanks to this tower and that Ghost Quarter, so we could see a Thought-Knot Seer come down here. And that does run the risk of running into a Dismember. He's going to pop the bomb, sure. Spreading Seas dies, both Silvergill Adepts die. So we have 2 or 3 Tron pieces now. And yeah, there is that Thought-Knot Seer, so Jorj is going to have to resolve. Nothing you can do about this one. The only counter you could have, I guess, would be Ceremonious Rejection. Yeah, 2 Spreading Seas, a Curse Catcher, a Harbinger of the Tides, and I think a Clique it looks like. Yeah, so I don't know. Let's see what he takes here. Jorj draws another Curse Catcher, so not that exciting. He's probably just going to be double Spreading Sea this turn. Yep, he sure is. Spreading Sea is your tower again. Draw your card, Jorj. There we go. He drew a Silvergill Adept, so if he wants, he can play another Adept here to get some board presence back and draw a card. Yeah, he's debating if he wants to cast another Spreading Seas or if he wants to cast a Silvergill Adept here. Silvergill Adept does give him the option or the shot at drawing a land, and that would, I guess, so does Spreading Seas, so it doesn't matter either way. He did find it as well, so Curse Catcher coming down as well. Sounds good. Stefan untaps here. He does have access to Reality Smasher this turn. Again, for a mold of 5, he has not missed a land drop. Yep, that's another tower. The 3rd tower this game. Reality Smasher comes down. Nothing Jorj can do about that one. In comes the attack for 9. Jorj is going to block 4 of it and fall to 15 instead. Okay. Again, Harbinger of the Tides is now a play for Jorj if he so chooses. He has another copy of it. Now, he can Harbinger and bounce the Thought-Knot Seer and draw a card. He could go both Harbingers this turn. He's in a Silvergill Adept, draw a card, show him the Harbinger again. Makes sense. The 4th Silvergill Adept has been drawn. I like Harbinger of the Tides, bounce Thought-Knot Seer, draw a card. If I hit a land, play 2nd Harbinger of the Tides, bounce Reality Smasher. That seems like an okay line here. It does, of course, require Jorj to draw a land, but yeah, Jorj is going to read the Smasher, and it does say spell. It's not spell or ability. It is only spells. So Harbinger of the Tides would not cause Smasher to trigger. We'll bring up the Reality Smasher again, just to, yeah. So target of a spell an opponent controls. Harbinger does not target that. Well, it does target it, but it's not with a spell. It's with an ability. I think Jorj may be asking for clarification to make sure here. Yeah, he's in a Harbinger and bounce it. I don't like that because Stefan just cast it again next turn. I really would have preferred him to bounce the Thought-Knot Seer to draw a card. Jorj might be thinking he has to triple block this Reality Smasher if it comes back down, which it likely will. I don't agree with that block if he does make it. I would even like to see more so like throw the Harbinger and the Silvergill in front of the Thought-Knot, draw a card. Stefan has a copy of Matter Reshaper in hand now. Yep, Smasher comes down again. His hand is 2 Ballistas, a Matter Reshaper. Just, what a... I don't think it's very bad at all here, Ace. I think he's fine. Like, a lot of his cards in hand are just kind of do-nothings. He has another silver. He has the 4th Silver Gill Adept, and he has a 2nd Harbinger of the Tides. Here comes another attack for 9. We're gonna just Curse Catcher in front of Thought Knot again and take 5. I'm not sure about that, but Stefan says go. Jorj draws a Lance. We're gonna have a Silver Gill Adept. We're gonna reveal another Harbinger. We're gonna draw a card. There's no point to blocking a reality or bouncing a Reality Smasher. It has haste. It's just going to come down again next turn and just smash you again. Stefan only has 4 mana, so if he or 5 mana. So if you bounce either of these creatures, it's going to be his entire turn. I think Jorj drew a copy of Marrow Reejery, but I don't think he's casting. I think he's just going to attack for 4. Stefan's going to take it, of course, falling to 14. Pass the turn back. So he's holding up Harbinger of the Tides here. Yeah. You can play it if it had flash, as if it had flash, and you pay 2 more mana. So he has 4 mana available. Yeah, I agree, Ace. I mean, I think bouncing the Thought Knot just to save yourself a blocker, if nothing else, is fine here. Did he draw another Smasher or another Thought Knot? He drew a Ballista, okay. Sure. So Ballista can kill both of these Adepts if he wants. Or it can kill just the Harbinger if he wants. He's going to kill the first Adept. And then attack for 9. Yeah, Jorj is going to flash into play another Harbinger. I don't agree with that. You want to draw the card. Like, you just need to draw a card here. Jorj is only attacking back next turn for 9. Unless he draws a Lord and he's attacking for 12. Even then he's not winning. He's still just dead. Well, he's not dead. I guess he's probably just taking the damage here from the Thought Knots here. No, he's blocking as well. Okay, interesting. It's like Jorj popped a sleeve. Yeah, blocking the haste threat just doesn't, or bouncing the haste threat just doesn't make sense to me either, Ace. It just, I get that it's obviously stronger, but it doesn't do anything. Yeah, change the sleeve out on Harbinger there. I also would have liked to have seen Jorj. Well, no, I guess he couldn't have done that. He would have died then. No, he wouldn't have. He could have played Reejery, attacked for 6. Jorj would be at this point at, or 7 to get 12. There's the Reejery. Stefan could respond by killing the Silver Gill if he wants. Jorj is attacking. It's an attack for 6. Stefan just takes it. Stefan falls to 8. He can't block, right? So I mean, so we replace Smasher. Jorj is forced to block with the Reejery. What does Jorj have in hand? A Tiebinder Mage, okay. All right. So that's a better. Oh, he can block. No, Reejery does not give Island Walk, so Stefan could have blocked. He just chose not to. Okay. Okay, so, all right. So in this case here, that doesn't work, Jorj. That's not what Tiebinder does. Oh, but he just taps with Reejery. Sure. Okay. Sure. Okay, so Reality Smasher is all of Stefan's mana. He can attack. Jorj has to block with the Tidebinder Mage. And if Jorj draws a Merfolk, he wins. Stefan, I would think in this case can't attack. He's going to play another Ballista instead. Sure. This is a ballista for 2. So he can now... He can now shoot down the Regery and then shoot down the Adept. And that leaves Jorj with at most 6 power, even with the Lord off the top of the deck here. Basilisk Collar as well. That's going to end the game next turn with those ballistas. He can just mow down 3 of Jorj's creatures. Stefan takes the safe play and just doesn't do anything. He just plays out his spells and says go. Jorj needs a Lord here. And I don't even think that's enough, to be honest, because you can just kill the Lord that gives Island Walk. Regery taps. He drew one. He drew Master of Waves, so this is important. So he says, yeah, I have Regery trigger. I will tap down your Thought-Knot Seer is my guess. Jorj might have done this. I'm not sure. I got to do the math here. Let's see. So Jorj is going to tap down. I think he said Thought-Knot Seer. Yeah. Oh, he says Ballista. Okay. Sure. So let's see. That Ballista gets to kill the Master of the Pearl Trident. Which means that Island Walk is turned off. Oh, it's a 3/3. He has to throw everything at it to kill it. Yeah, okay. So Jorj does get there. Wow, that was very close. Yeah, because no, he couldn't. Yeah, he couldn't just spend. He would have had to use both the ballistas. I definitely would have tapped down the Thought-Knots here, because he would have had to use both ballistas to kill the Merfolk that gives Island Walk, and then Jorj is in a good spot. Yeah, so okay, that was good. Jorj does win game 2. It evens it up. We're going to a game 3 here. Stefan will have the play again, however. So it's pretty good. I mean, this kind of match right there kind of shows the... This is a rough match for Jorj still. I mean, like, that was a mold of 5 and he was almost dead still. So I mean, to be fair, Stefan's also drawn multiple ballistas each game, and the ballistas are quite good against Jorj. So yeah, I think Jorj is thinking about bringing Hurgle's Recall. I don't think you need to, because again, they only bounce the ballista. Did he take out Aether Vials? I don't agree with that. I think he needs to keep in Aether Vials. I don't know what that Sarkin thing is, but... Alright. That time is a concern here. I think Jorj can start shuffling his deck up. There's 10 minutes left. Jorj can't have this end in a draw, because then he just is guaranteed out of top 8. Jorj needs to win in the next 10 minutes to have a shot here of stealing his way into top 8. Sure, 10 minutes plus 5 turns. You are correct, Vest. I mean, depending on board state, once we get to the 5 turns, that may not matter, so we'll have to see, but... Alright, so Jorj is going to want to see again I mean, he's going to want to see... I guess he's taking out his Aether Vials, which I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, yeah, it's Merfolk, so I mean, it's... Alright. This is an important game. Again, I'm sure my 9-pointers who decided to draw are thinking over, you know, what if Jorj wins this and I get beat out because I drew? Alright, we have a Seas Claim, an Island, a Mutavault, a Master of Waves, a Harbinger, a Tidebinder Mage, and another Mutavault for Jorj. Stefan has Chalice of the Void, Karn, Walking Ballista. I think 2 lands. I believe Stefan is kept here and Jorj is mulliganed. Stefan has kept, and I believe he has Ghost Quarter, Wastes, Tower for his lands. Now, Stefan also has, again, I said that Chalice he has in his hand. Chalice on 2, I think just locks Jorj out of this game. He does, of course, have spells that don't cost 2, but it's not many, and not necessarily relevant ones. So, all right, Jorj here. Seas Claim, Aboro, Island, Silvergill Adept, Harbinger. This is fine. Yep, Jorj is going to scry. Leaves it on... we're not sure yet. Leaves it on top, I think. Yep, Stefan starts it off here. Has a tower and a pass of the turn. Jorj has a Boro. Very important, however, has a copy of Ceremonious Rejection. So he is... Yeah, that's a good one to have here. That'll let him counter a big spell out of Stefan. We know that there's a Karn in Stefan's hand, which is huge to counter if he's able to do it. Okay, Ghost Quarter comes down as a second land. So, I mean, Jorj is in a good spot in terms of Stefan's mana. He doesn't have much acceleration going on. Jorj draws a copy of Lord of Atlantis. I imagine we see the Adept come down this turn. Yes, we do. It's going to reveal the Harbinger of the Tides. Jorj will draw a card. I didn't get a look at it, so I'm not sure if he found his 3rd land yet or not. Jorj does only have 2 lands here, so he does need to find some more to have. He did find a land, though. Okay. He found that. He found another island, so that's good. 6.5 minutes to go. Jorj needs to win this pretty quickly. Stefan plays a Wastes. Does he have anything else to do this turn? I don't even know. No, he does not. He just says go. Might have Dismember somewhere in his hand there. But, okay, Jorj finds a Mutable. That's pretty good. Now, I think he has to play the island because I think he's going to want to play the Lord of Atlantis and hold up Ceremonious Rejection. Jorj agrees. Yeah, that looks like a good play. Here comes the attack for 3 is my guess. Unless Stefan, of course, has something to kill the Lord or the Adept. I think there's a Dismember there. Yeah, there is. Yep, Stefan just goes ahead and takes 3. Falls to 17. Jorj will pass back here. Yeah, Jorj needs to play much faster than this. He needs to get this win, and he's got 5.5 minutes to do it. So, a Power Plant is the land here for Stefan. A big play here. If Stefan he's going to go for this Chalice for 2. Jorj is going to reject it. It's going to be this is a big turn here. Jorj has to reject this, or he's just out of the game. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, reject that. Stefan's going to read it. We'll do the same. There it is there. Counter-target colorless spell. Stefan says go. Jorj has a free turn here. Draws another land. I don't think he has another Lord. That'd be huge if he did, but he gets to attack for 5. And he gets to Spreading Seas a land to draw a card here to find another Lord possibly. And if he finds it, he gets to attack for 7. Yeah, Jorj just making sure he knows what lands are what. Jorj's going to Spreading Seas a Ghost Quarter. Okay, that's fair because it protects his Mutavault. He drew a Master of Waves. So there's the attack for 5. Stefan's going to fall to 12. Ace the Creator, yes he did. He played Mutavault. It's a Merfolk, so it's not bad. So Jorj might just play Harbinger. Yeah, I was going to say he might just play Harbinger here, as it just adds to his clock. I think it's totally fine. Stefan, I believe, has a Mine in his hand. Yeah, he does. So, yeah, nowhere close to Tron still. He's going to be at least one piece away still. A Smasher here doesn't do anything. Thought Knot would be okay. But his Merfolk, of course, have Island Walk, so I can't block. There is a Ballista in Stefan's hand, so he could theoretically play the Ballista for 2, shoot down the Lord of Atlantis, and he's only taking 4. Again, I think he had his number, but I could be wrong. Yeah, Stefan taking his time, but Jorj needs a win here. Dismember is in his hand. He's going to dismember it. He's going to pay 4 life here. He's down to 8. Away goes Lord of Atlantis. Now Jorj will get to untap and play a Master of Waves, and he's going to get out of it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elementals. 1, 2, 3, 4 Ballista for 2. He can go ahead if he wants and kill this Silvergill Adept. No, he could only play it for 2 because he only has access right now to 4 mana. Yeah, he's going to instantly just kill off this Adept. Yeah, I don't like playing Master of Waves now, seeing as how it will just get shot down and killed. But that does at the same time remove the Ballista from play. If I'm Jorj, I start with my attack here for sure. And I think I also turn on Mutavault and come with that maybe. Just put him on a 2-turn clock if he doesn't block. I like it, Jorj. I like it. Let's go. Get in there. Put him to test. Does he want to block this? This line also turns off any other dismembers. Stefan is going to block here. This is big. He'll shoot Jorj for 1 before damage. Stefan will fall to 6 from one of the unblocked creatures. Jorj gets to play a land and play a Master here. Oh, this is going to be huge. If Stefan doesn't have an answer, I think Jorj just wins. Jorj, did he have a land? Oh, he already played the land turn. Never mind. Okay, he can't play Master just yet, so he's all right. I don't know what that die is. Is that time? Are we in turns here? We're gonna clique him. Oh, and there's an All Is Dust. I don't know if it's castable though. I don't think it is. We see Karn. We see. What do we see? Karn, Smasher, All Is Dust. I'm not sure if that's turns. I don't know. Our clock might be wrong. I had these guys with an extra minute still. Sanctum of Ugin is the land in the back there. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sanctum is 6. I think Jorj just says you keep all these. That's fine. And Stefan's only play is play a Smasher defensively. Yeah, I was wrong there, Vest. He already played his land. I think if I'm Jorj, I just say you can keep all these. Smasher doesn't matter. He can't cast Karn. He can't cast All His Dust. I think you just take nothing here, Jorj. You don't want to give him the shot at drawing. Because let's say he takes All His Dust or Karn. Don't do it, Jorj. If he takes one of these and Stefan draws the 3rd Tron piece by chance, he gets to cast the other one for sure. Right now, Stefan can't cast anything but the Smasher. Yeah, I would have just taken nothing here. This is risky. He can't do anything. So he draws for Clique. This could still be a nothing draw. He took All His Dust as well, which is pretty important. So Sanctum of Ugin is the land. Okay, so nothing special there. Like, even him drawing Ballista here is devastating. He's not that on board because he gets to play... Smasher to block. So he wouldn't have been dead on board. Yeah, the Smasher is not going to attack here. It's just gonna sit on defense, and he's not dead. So, yeah, pass the turn back. So this is his turn. So Jorj, so if Jorj draws a Lord here, it's game over. Clique is lethal across 2 turns. Okay, this is, I mean, all right. Jorj is poised to win this. Clique is the only attacker. Stefan falls to 3. Jorj probably just goes ahead and plays the Master of Waves here. Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tokens coming down. Okay, so Karn's not good enough now. I think Stefan needs to have a land and his second copy of All Is Dust for this to matter. This is really close. Turn 3. Stefan's at 3, Jorj is at 19. Yeah, we got that. Does Jorj get there on turn 4? What do we have? We have 6 mana. Ballista here would be devastating. Oh my god. Oh boy. So this is going to shoot down the Clique, shoot down the Master. And it's still alive, so Jorj needs a Lord. Yeah, Master of Waves is going to die. Clique is going to die. Clique down. Yep. Okay. So if Jorj finds a Lord effect here, Master of the Pearl Trident, Lord of Atlantis, he has the game. Otherwise, Stefan has 2 blockers to block both of Jorj's attackers. What did you find, Jorj? Stefan has no mana open, so... I don't know if I don't have a look here. I think Jorj is thinking too long about this potentially. If it's going to be, I'm curious where Stefan drew the Ballista here. I'm curious if he drew it off the Clique draw or if he drew it off of. That's 2 mana. Oh my! He found it. He's got it. Oh, no way he's going to get there. Jorj finds the Master. This is going to be it. It's got Island Walk. Turn on the Univault. Get in there. 6 of them. Oh, he's got it. Oh, wow. Wow. Congrats to Jorj.